So what if I told you that the most powerful, reality-bending force in the entire universe isn't some far-off cosmic energy, but something you use every single second of every day, and you probably don't even realize you're doing it? We're going to dive deep into how this massively misunderstood power is the key that saints, scientists, and even medical miracles have used to literally transform reality itself.
So let's just put it out there. Forget what you've been told about money or political power or even raw willpower. What do you think is the fundamental creative force of everything, the real powerhouse of the universe?
Yep, it's your imagination. That's it. And I'm not talking about the whimsical, daydreaming unicorn and rainbows kind of imagination. I mean a focused, disciplined faculty of your mind that is the actual workshop where creation happens.
Now, this is not some new age idea I just cooked up. Mystics like Neville Goddard have been teaching this for ages, and he put it as plainly as possible. Imagination creates reality. This is the core idea, the foundation we're going to explore today.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we'll look at how imagination can be a bridge to spiritual enlightenment. Then, we'll get into the hard evidence for how it can heal the physical body. After that, we'll see how it's an organ of knowledge used by geniuses throughout history. And to wrap it all up, I'm going to give you a super practical 4-step protocol you can literally use tonight.
All right, let's start with one of the biggest questions we can ask as humans. How do we wake up? Enlightenment. How in the world does imagination fit into this ancient spiritual quest?
Well, pretty much all the major spiritual traditions agree on this one fundamental point. The world that you see and touch and experience every day isn't the final, ultimate reality. It's more like a projection, an illusion. And in the East, they have a great word for this: Maya.
And this insight is incredibly universal. It doesn't matter if you call it Maya, like in Advaita Vedanta, or Samsara in Buddhism, the core teaching is exactly the same. The reality we think is so solid is more like a projection, kind of a dream. And the very first step to waking up is realizing you're asleep in the first place.
So here's the million-dollar question. How do you wake up from that dream? And this is where it gets really interesting. It's a paradox. You use a disciplined, focused imagination. Sages like Ramana Maharshi taught this practice of imaginal inquiry. You don't just sit there and think, I am not the body, not the mind. No, you imagine it. You feel it to be true in the core of your being, and you just rest in that feeling until the little imagined self, the ego, starts to dissolve. It's like using a thorn to remove a thorn.
Okay, now let's take this same principle and apply it to something that a lot of people think is even more radical: healing the physical body. And this isn't just some spiritual theory. There's some really fascinating scientific proof we need to look at.
I know what you're thinking. That number has to be a typo, right? Nope. According to quantum physics, that's the percentage of an atom that is pure, empty space. This fact alone should force us to completely rethink what our bodies even are. They're not solid matter. They're more like a vibrant energy field organized by information. And here's the kicker. If it's organized by information, that means new information, like a focused, healing image held in your mind, can literally change the organization.
And here's some of that data. Back in the 1970s, an oncologist named Dr. Carl Simonton had his cancer patients do something unusual. He had them visualize their immune systems as powerful white knights, just obliterating their cancer cells. The result? As you can see, the visualization group had, on average, more than double the survival time of the control group, and the only real difference was their daily, disciplined use of imagination.
And this isn't just some one-off finding. Dr. Kelly Turner spent years studying over 1,000 cases of what's called radical remission. These are people who healed from stage 4 cancer when all hope was lost. And what she found was amazing. After radically changing their diet, what was the number 2 most common factor they all shared? You guessed it, using mental imagery and visualization every single day.
But, data and charts can feel a little abstract. So let's talk about a real human story. This is Morris Goodman, a man who came to be known as the Miracle Man.
After a horrific plane crash, Goodman's spinal cord was completely severed. He was paralyzed from the neck down. Doctors literally told him he would be a vegetable for the rest of his life, that he'd never even be able to breathe on his own again. But in his mind, he just flat out refused that reality. Instead, he focused on one single imaginal act.
This was his entire world. Day in and day out, lying there completely motionless, he ignored the reality of the beeping machines and the doctor's reports. He relentlessly lived in one imagined scene.
breathing all by himself and walking right out of that hospital.
And against all medical explanation, just 90 days later, he did exactly that. He walked out of the hospital. His story is just this profound, powerful testament to the body's incredible ability to respond to a new set of instructions from a focused imagination.
So we've seen imagination as a tool for spiritual awakening and a tool for healing. But what about as a tool for discovery and invention? Let's explore how it functions as what some people have called the organ of knowledge. And who better to talk about this than Albert Einstein himself? He didn't see imagination as some childish fantasy. To him, it was a superior faculty of the mind. Knowledge, he said, is just a library of what we already know. But imagination? Imagination is the portal to everything we don't know yet. And history is just filled with these stories. You have the chemist Auguste Kekulé, who was struggling to figure out the structure of the benzene molecule. Then one day he has this daydream of a snake biting its own tail, and bam, he instantly knew it was a ring. Or think about Nikola Tesla, who famously built, tested, and even took apart entire inventions in his mind with perfect clarity before he ever picked up a single physical tool.
So, where are these geniuses getting this information from? Well, many esoteric traditions talk about something called the imaginal realm. And it's crucial to understand this isn't imaginary as in fake or made up. It's a real plane of existence where archetypes, ideas, and even future inventions exist as patterns. By quieting their rational minds, these geniuses were able to tune in and access it.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the how, the really good stuff. This is a simple, incredibly powerful protocol that you can start using tonight to apply this amazing force in your own life. Here are the 4 steps. Super simple. First, you get into what's called a state akin to sleep, or SATS for short. You know, that drowsy, super relaxed state right before you drift off? That's the sweet spot. Second, choose one short scene that would only happen after your wish is fulfilled. Don't imagine getting the thing, imagine having the thing. Third, you loop that scene over and over in your mind. Make it as real as you possibly can, with all your senses, but especially the feeling of gratitude or relief. And fourth, the easiest part, just release it. Fall asleep in that feeling, trusting that it is already done.
You know, at the end of the day, this whole practice is really about cleansing the doors of our perception. The poet William Blake said it best. If we could just see past our limited, habitual ways of imagining, we'd see reality for what it truly is, infinite. And consciously directed imagination, that's the cleaning agent. The very same power that dreams up entire galaxies is dreaming through your mind right this second. You can keep using it on autopilot, just replaying old fears and limitations, or you can start using it on purpose. So the only real question left is, what reality are you going to create tonight?